to The 5 Pillars of Reading Instruction Professional Development by Megan McLeckey. As we know, many students in school struggle in the area of literacy, specifically in regard to reading. In 2000, the National Reading Panel issued a report identifying some key skills and approaches to support struggling readers. They reviewed many studies that met the following criteria. The research had to address achievement of one or more skills in reading. The research had to be generalizable to the larger population of students. The research needed to examine the effectiveness of an approach, and it also needed to be regarded as high quality. The findings are described in the article Put Reading First, and they provide analysis and discussion of 5 areas of reading instruction, which are presented in this professional development. These 5 areas are phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and text comprehension. The Put Reading First article describes something called a what works approach. In the past, reading instruction was largely based on ideology. However, now reading instruction is operating based on scientific evidence to support and back instructional practices. The key piece to a what works approach in reading is that it's dynamic and fluid, and it's subject to ongoing review and assessment through quality research. Phonemic awareness is the first pillar of reading instruction. It is the ability to hear, identify, and manipulate individual sounds, which we consider phonemes, in spoken words. Phonemic awareness is crucial to a child's reading ability because it improves word reading and reading comprehension. It also helps children learn to spell. Small group instruction is most effective when helping students obtain phonemic awareness. And phonemic awareness helps students who are preschool to first graders and older populations of students who may be less abled readers. Some strategies to support phonemic awareness in reading instruction are practicing skills such as blending and segmenting activities. Phonemic awareness instruction should take no longer than 20 hours over the course of the school year. Overall, small group instruction is found to be the most effective when promoting phonemic awareness skills during reading instruction. Phonics is the next pillar in reading instruction. Phonics instruction teaches children the relationship between the letters, which we consider graphemes, of written language and the individual sounds or phonemes of spoken language. The goal of phonics instruction is to help children learn and use the alphabetic principle. The alphabetic principle is the understanding that there are systematic and predictable relationships between written letters and spoken sounds. Phonics instruction should be systematic and explicit. It generally requires approximately 2 years of instruction and begins in kindergarten. Classroom applications for phonics are as follows. First, a phonics program is an effective program if it provides ample opportunity for children to apply what they are learning about letters and sounds to the reading of words, sentences, and stories. Some examples of phonics instruction approaches are synthetic, analytical, analogy-based, phonics through spelling, embedded phonics, and onset and rhyme instruction. The third pillar of reading instruction is fluency. Fluency is important because it frees students to understand what they read. It is important to monitor student progress in reading fluency to evaluate instruction and set appropriate instructional goals that are motivating to students. Fluency instruction is useful when students are not automatic at recognizing the words in their texts. This is why isolated word recognition is necessary, but is not necessarily sufficient for reading fluency instruction. Some strategies to support fluency in the classroom are modeling fluent reading and having students engage in repeating reading passages. It is also important to regularly monitor students' fluency. This can be done through procedures for calculating words per minute. Instruction is vocabulary, which refers to the words we must know in order to communicate effectively. Oral vocabulary refers to words that we use in speaking or recognize in listening. Reading vocabulary refers to words we recognize or use in print. Vocabulary can be developed indirectly when students engage in oral language, listen to adults read to them, and read extensively on their own. It can be developed directly when students are explicitly taught both individual words and word learning strategies. Researchers often refer to 4 types of vocabulary: listening vocabulary, speaking vocabulary, reading vocabulary, and writing vocabulary. Overall, vocabulary also is extremely important to reading comprehension, and readers cannot understand what they are reading without knowing what most of the words mean. Some strategies to support the application of vocabulary in the classroom are repeated exposure to words, focusing on word parts, and extending and activating engagement with vocabulary. Some words to focus on in vocabulary are those words that are important, difficult, and useful. The last pillar of reading instruction is reading comprehension. Comprehension is the reason for reading. It is purposeful and active, and it can be developed by teaching comprehension strategies. These strategies may be taught through explicit instruction, also through cooperative learning, or by helping readers use strategies flexibly and in combination. Some ways that comprehension strategies can be applied in the classroom are through metacognitive strategies, using graphic organizers, answering and generating questions, recognizing story structure, and having students practice summarizing strategies. Overall, these pillars of reading instruction lead to one common goal, which is reading comprehension. All of the pillars are equally significant. One pillar is not more crucial than the other. It is important to note that research and best practices to support reading is continually ongoing. Reading is not a one-size-fits-all approach. Strategies and approaches to reading instruction should not only be grounded in ideology, but also based on high-quality, research-based evidence. Engage in